Welcome to the Frontier Podcast, where we take the internet's best tech articles and transform them into audio so that you can enjoy them on the go. Today's episode is brought to you by Presence Media, a Colorado-based SEO and web design firm. They create beautifully modern websites that effectively attract new customers to their clients. Visit them at presencemediadenver.com. We'll have that link listed below. Today's episode was written by Rob Marvin. Rob is an assistant editor of PC Mag's business section. He writes often on the blockchain, artificial intelligence, cognitive computing, augmented reality, and much more. You can find more of his stuff on medium.com. Today's article is titled, "Is Augmented Reality Ready for Mainstream Business?" With all the talk of augmented reality being the next smartphone, it's interesting to get an insight into this technology's near future. If you'd like to read the original article, including the embedded images, you can find it on medium.com. We'll have that link listed below. Microsoft's HoloLens team, Augment, and other startup entrepreneurs discussed the many challenges and opportunities in today's augmented reality landscape. For many, 2016 was the year augmented reality became real. Pokemon Go took over the world last summer, superimposing 3D creatures anywhere in the world players wanted to point their smartphones. Snapchat became Snap Inc. and gave its users a simple AR extension of the social application in the form of Snapchat Spectacles, and you're fortunate if you can get a pair. Microsoft released the HoloLens Development Edition, the first iteration of the company's immersive, head-mounted AR experience. The technology we're seeing now only scratches the surface of the audacious sci-fi vision that the companies comprising the AR industry have for the future. In the meantime, there are still massive technological, business, and societal challenges to scale before we can see the world through Tony Stark's Iron Man cockpit. For the most mature AR technology currently on the market, look to the enterprise. Business-focused AR apps are already beginning to make an impact across a number of industries. Platforms such as Vuforia let developers build headset or smartphone-based AR apps for any scenario or customer use case, from e-commerce and marketing to manufacturing, design, and multimedia. At the same time, Microsoft HoloLens and a growing market of AR headsets from Lenovo, ODG, Vuzix, and others are already rolling out and in use by early adopters across the medical, industrial, and retail fields and a host of other enterprise settings. At a recent event in Microsoft's New York headquarters entitled Disruptive Technologists: The Augmented Reality Experience, Microsoft joined a number of AR startups for a panel discussion on the current state of AR. Among the panelists were Nick Landry, Senior Technical Evangelist of Microsoft HoloLens, Lindsay Boyajian, Chief Marketing Officer of AR startup Augment, and Alper Guler, Software Engineer at Pandora Reality. Nick, Lindsay, and Alper, please accept my apology if I've pronounced your names wrong. The discussion included AR business models and monetization strategies, the various technical and cultural challenges facing the AR industry, the latest drama surrounding the curious case of Magic Leap, and how headset makers can avoid the same fate as their doomed AR forefather, Google Glass. Augmented reality versus mixed reality. There's an important distinction to make with the current AR landscape. There's the sort of AR we can already experience through apps such as Pokemon Go, and then there are more immersive headset-based experiences that companies such as Microsoft and Magic Leap are calling mixed reality. Microsoft's Landry explains some of the more technical differences between basic smartphone AR and headset-based MR, which is not yet consumer-ready. Landry says, quote, "There's augmented reality, there's virtual reality, and then there's mixed reality. You could argue mixed reality is just another form of AR, but AR is often associated with just adding an overlay of information or objects to things with a heads-up display. Playing Pokemon Go is traditional AR, but it breaks the immersion in a situation where you'll see a Pokemon on top of an object like a wall, when the wall should be hiding the Pokemon. With mixed reality, we have the ability to create real holograms. They're real objects made of light and sound. If I put a computer-generated tiger beside the podium next to me, if you were wearing a device like HoloLens, you would see the tiger disappear behind the podium. It's real-world objects occluding virtual objects. Mixed reality is a blend of two worlds, the world we live in and the synthetic world of bits and bytes." End quote. AR business models, B2B versus B2C. Consumer awareness of AR is still relatively low. Microsoft's Landry said that While the business-to-consumer model is popular in the mobile app economy and with end-user devices, AR doesn't quite have the user awareness and market penetration to make the model viable yet. Instead, he said Microsoft is marketing HoloLens in a business-to-business fashion, but with the end goal of getting the technology to consumers through targeted, branded experiences. Essentially, Microsoft is building and selling customized HoloLens apps to businesses that, in turn, will sell or market that immersive experience to customers, which he referred to as a B2B2C model. Landry gave Microsoft's partnership with home improvement retail giant Lowe's as a prime example. Quote, Lowe's is piloting a HoloLens application in their stores. They built an app with us where they help a user make kitchen buying choices, explained Landry. The user walks into the corner of the store where they have a bland kitchen corner set up. Then they put on a HoloLens and see what the kitchen looks like with different colors and appliances. You don't have to sit down with a bunch of catalogs or different types of wood and tiles for the floor tiles and countertops. The operator can change those colors and choices on the fly. For example, if you say you want to see granite countertops, the customer can get up close and look at different angles without having to hold up a phone. End quote. This kind of B2B or B2B2C model fits with how Augmented and Pandora Reality market their respective technologies, which are smartphone-based rather than headset-based. Augmented's omni-channel solution embeds the AR experience within an e-commerce provider's online catalog or shopping interface as a natural extension of the shopping experience with the goal of increasing conversions. Pandora works similarly, directly marketing its AR tech to businesses such as architecture firms and furniture makers. Quote, we create apps for interior designers, furniture companies, real estate companies, etc., to visualize objects but not through glasses, said Pandora's Guler. IKEA was the first to create an augmented reality furniture catalog where you can scan the pages and then change the furniture colors. Today, companies like Augment and Us build apps that let you design an entire apartment in augmented reality. End quote. Advertising and monetization. Augmented's Boyajian pointed out that these kinds of practical, shopping-focused AR experiences solve a major pain point that loses online retailers billions of dollars a year: returns and warehouse costs. Consumers get to try out a product in its real size in their home, in the color and style they want, and then order it knowing exactly what they'll get spatially, without worrying whether a piece of furniture will fit in a room or through a door. Quote, over the past 10 or 15 years, we've seen e-commerce accelerate around the Amazon model. First, we had product pages with text, then photos, now 360-degree photos. And the next evolution of that is augmented reality, experiencing that product in your home in real size, said Boyajian. Our software developer kit is embedded into the retailer's app. So when you tap the View at Home or View in 3D button, it integrates the camera in your smartphone or tablet, and our 3D engine scales the object to the size of the room. End quote. One very interesting question is how AR companies plan to approach long-term monetization. Microsoft's Landry said the industry should look to Hollywood for inspiration in the form of virtual advertising and product placement. Since the dawn of the film and television industries, product placement in the background or as props on sets has served as a core financing and revenue stream. The gaming industry long ago embraced product placement as well, often as brazenly as a character eating cup of noodles in Final Fantasy XV. Quote, one aspect of monetization we can bring to this world is what the TV and movie industries use a lot: product placement. There's a department on a movie production that works with brands to insert products into the movie. The billboards you see aren't random. The cars that characters drive aren't random. The drink the actors drink isn't random. It's all negotiated as part of product placement, said Landry. Video game companies are doing the same thing, he said. If I'm doing a modern-day game, you can bet that there will be a Coca-Cola ad or something inserted into the game for realism. Virtual and mixed reality are all about immersion, about transporting you somewhere that doesn't exist, but at the same time, you can make it more realistic by introducing the brands you are used to seeing on a daily basis. That's going to be a new way for consumers to discover brands. Close quote. The virtual reality industry is already doubling down on product placement and VR advertising. Agencies such as Advertas, Omnivert, Triver, and Virtual Sky specialize in AR, VR, and 360-degree advertisements, And larger companies such as Adobe are pursuing similar types of virtual product placement through solutions such as virtual cinema. Although there's a lot of promise for AR/VR advertising, that monetization strategy still faces an uphill battle. According to marketing firm Yes Lifecycle Marketing, only 8% of brands and marketers currently use or plan to employ VR for advertising. Though, interestingly enough, one of the more prominent success stories in AR advertising is Snap Inc. The company has amassed AR ad patents around image recognition and contextual ad placement and has built an automated ad platform to generate more consistent marketing revenue. Quote, "Look at Snapchat," said Augment's Boyajian. "Those are augmented reality ads. The sponsored lenses you see with brands' names is a digital asset overlaid on the real world. That's one of their biggest revenue streams right now." End quote. AR tech challenges. Whether you're talking about smartphone-based AR or an MR headset, the AR industry faces a diverse and complex set of tech problems. Take Magic Leap, arguably the highest profile AR startup in the space. The company has raised approximately $1.4 billion in funding from a star-studded list of investors, including Alibaba, Alphabet, Anderson Horowitz, JP Morgan Chase, and Warner Brothers. The goal is to create a fully realized MR device, with levels of immersion and dazzling realism we've never seen outside of pop culture and the company's viral demo videos. Magic Leap has recently been in the news as a reported prototype was anonymously sent to Business Insider. Magic Leap CEO Roni Abovitz clarified that the leaked device was, in fact, a test rig, not a working prototype. Regardless, multiple sources have reported the company is having trouble shrinking down its technology into an attractive form factor that it can effectively market to consumers. Magic Leap's struggles speak to a fundamental challenge with AR technology. Microsoft can afford to sink billions of dollars and years of research and development into the HoloLens, but a startup such as Magic Leap doesn't have that kind of time or resources. Technological innovation on the scale that Magic Leap is reaching for doesn't necessarily play nicely with a deliverables timeline and business goals. Microsoft's Landry said that with this level of sophisticated MR, there are always technical challenges. One of the other challenges, he said, is education on multiple levels. Quote, "It's about educating enterprises about the capabilities of not just HoloLens, but the overall lens of VR, AR, MR, and what you can build. It's like talking about mobility in 2007, when mobile apps were just versions of the websites we already had. It took a few years before the Airbnbs and Ubers came out and really changed our lives. Ultimately, it's about educating the masses about what this thing is, what you can do with it, and why you should want one. Think about the people who said they didn't need a cell phone, or can do without social media. That level of disruption has to happen across companies, developers, end users, and the public." End quote. For smartphone-based AR apps, the tech problems are slightly simpler. Both Boyajian and Guler pointed to the lack of depth sensors in iPhones and other smartphones as a major limitation of the technology. Augment gets around this by using any denomination dollar bill as a universal tracker to ground a 3D AR model in real space. Quote, "The biggest challenge is that the iPhone doesn't have depth sensors," said Pandora's Guler. "You need to make estimations to place models in a scene. Today, you need a marker that blocks it. It's one more interaction the user has to go through after downloading the app." Close quote. The answer we're beginning to see may be AR platforms such as Intel RealSense and Google's Project Tango. Tango-enabled devices include depth sensing technology that can map 3D space. The first Tango-enabled device, the Lenovo Fab 2 Pro, is already on sale. The second, the Asus Zenfone AR, was announced in January at the Consumer Electronics Show. Quote, "Before Pokemon Go, no one really knew what AR was," said Augment's Boyajian. "Now it's top of mind for every consumer and every brand, and the hardware is catching up. The headsets aren't quite available for consumers yet, but we have companies like Lenovo releasing devices with Tango. Tango's platform will allow for a much smoother experience because of its room mapping and depth sensing technology." End quote. Where Google Glass went wrong. The godfather of modern AR is the now defunct Google Glass. Microsoft's Landry said it was the social stigma of Google Glass that ultimately sunk the product. The quote, glass hole backlash to the AR eyewear was swift and furious when the company released in 2013, and the product never quite recovered. Quote, I thought they should have made glass a lot cheaper and flooded the market with it. If everyone has one, you are no longer the exception, said Landry. The social stories exploded everywhere and the technology struggled. Either you go mass market right away, or they should have targeted it to be more focused on business. By making it available as something anyone could buy and walk down the street with, I don't think people were ready for that. End quote. The privacy factor is an important consideration for AR technology such as HoloLens. Landry made clear that Microsoft doesn't record what anyone is building with HoloLens or collect any data that's not anonymized. Though, when asked when HoloLens would be widely available to consumers in the same way as Google Glass is, Landry gave the answer you'd expect. Quote, today the HoloLens is a developer kit. It is a device targeted for the enterprise, said Landry. Do we have plans to bring this mainstream at a price point that will be attractive for the average consumer? Yes. End quote. We've already seen one company learn a lesson from Google Glass, as Snap proved when it rolled out Snapchat Spectacles. Through smart marketing, transparent recording, and by knowing its socially connected audience wasn't quite as concerned with privacy, Snap proved that an AR headset can be commercially viable to consumers. Quote, Google failed where Snap succeeded, said Boyajian. They had a completely different marketing campaign, they knew their audience, and there's no stigma because you see the rotating lights when a person is recording. Will consumers adopt a headset? In this case, yes. End quote. Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes just like this at tfpodcast.io. That link is listed below. Again, thanks to Rob Marvin. You can find more of his writing on medium.com. That link is also listed below. And thank you to our sponsor of today's episode, Presence Media. You can visit them at presencemediadenver.com. That link will also be listed below. Be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and iTunes, or visit us at tfpodcast.io. If you'd like to help support our show, we'd really appreciate it. Visit our Patreon and donate. All of those links will be listed below. Thanks for listening.